What happens when I turn off all the lights on one of the scariest attractions in California? On Friday the 13th, and it all takes place in one of the most haunted ships in the world, the Queen Mary. Here's how it went. What is up, guys? Welcome back to Villains of Horror, where we do all things horror related, horror theme park, horror attractions, horror movies. If you love spooky stuff, I'm sure you're gonna love the channel. Subscribe for more. But we're talking about the Dark Harbor Lights Off event for Friday the 13th. This was a fun event. Small event, one maze, but they did have some other things that were going on. I want to tell you guys about our experience. We got the tickets relatively, early. They sold out extremely quickly for actually Friday the 13th. That day, they sold out almost instantly. They did reopen up the time slots, and we got time slots for the next day. So technically, we went Saturday the 14th. But it was still considered the Friday the 13th event. With this event, we got access to the Queen Mary ship itself beforehand, one maze, the seance room, and also the engine room. And there was also some other little things that were sprinkled in here and there, but we're gonna be talking about all that stuff in today's video. But to kick things off, this event was a real cool event. Started off, we actually showed up a couple hours early because we wanted to go on the Queen Mary and just kind of explore. We've never really been on it, me and the wife, so we wanted to just go, explore, look around. It was honestly a really cool experience. You got to see the captain's quarters, you got to go through the navigation room, the radio room. There was so many different things in there that you got a chance to do. Plus, going up on one of the upper decks, you can go and look out on Long Beach, and everything looked really just stunning. It was honestly a really cool experience. So if you guys are in the area, I would say go to the Queen Mary. It was really cool. I know they do other tours there, which I think I do want to check out. I know they think they have a haunted tour as well, go over a lot of the hunting stuff that goes on there. But it was a really interesting event. It was a real nice treat to go onto the ship and just kind of walk around. Some of the other interesting things that we did see while we were there on the ship itself, it did have lots of models of other ships and things like that. I am kind of a sucker for like small little models and things like that, if you can't tell behind me. So I enjoyed that aspect. And then like another really cool thing was going out into the, I guess, like captain's room, where they had the actual like steering thing for the ship. Steering wheel, that's what it's called. The steering wheel for the ship. That was cool. You got to actually like look out and see like the front of the ship. So that was really cool. So I would highly suggest go to the Queen Mary itself. It's a beautiful ship, a beautiful thing. The parking for that though, we did get there early, so we just did the general parking. We parked like the main like parking lot. That was pretty cool. Well, we did walk up to the ship. It is interesting to see how when it's just normal season versus during like Dark Harbor, like when it's going on for like the Halloween season, the full parking lot is open, so you can like there's much more parking. You could park closer, and people for like the hotel, 'cause there's like a hotel on the ship too. You can just park in that like lot. So it was a decent amount of parking. We wanted to make sure that we got there early though, so we had plenty of time, didn't have to worry about anything. We can get whatever spots we wanted and just go in and do what we got to do. That was cool. So when it comes down to the event itself, it was still time slotted. I believe our time slot was like 7:30 or something like that. We made our way off of the ship with like, I don't know, over 45 minutes earlier to try to get our way over to the entrance. The line itself wasn't as long as what I thought it was going to be, but we just wanted to get in line, make sure that we just got in. Since we were on the Queen Mary already, we just figured let's just go over there, just get in line, get things situated, and just kind of get things moving. So that was fine. To go to where the line was, you had to get off of the ship itself and go out. The entrance is like way off to like the backside of the ship. So with this event, it was really one haunted attraction there. It's the maze that they have before Feast, but the cool thing is it was completely lights off. So it was pitch black. It's already there a dark event normally, but this time there was no lights at all. They just gave you little glow sticks, and that boosted the excitement for this maze. Even though we've done this maze before, going through it, especially for us, I feel like we've only done Dark Harbor a couple of times, so I didn't remember the whole thing. And then going through it when there was like no lights at all was very, very cool. And they still had this, pulsed through. So yeah, actually our group, we were in the very front. So I was the front person. It was me, my wife, our other family friend behind my wife. And then we had I want to say like 3 or 4 other like girls. So it was just our group that went in. I was in the front. And yeah, I couldn't see anything at all. It made it fun. I couldn't see anything. It definitely amplified all the experiences, all of the emotions, because yeah, you just couldn't see anything at all. A couple things to note with the maze itself. There wasn't a ton of scare actors in the maze, but that was honestly totally fine. They had them spread out fairly well, but this time going through when it was complete darkness, it didn't really rely on jump scares. It was really just the atmosphere, because the ship itself is like scary. It's a big ship. It's kind of scary just by itself. And I'll talk about the engine room. That was a whole nother thing afterwards. But the ship itself is scary. Being in complete darkness and not knowing where you're going, bumping into walls. I was literally like bumping into the wall because I couldn't see anything. Because even though they paused us through, you do eventually catch up with the group in front of you. People in front of us, they had their glow sticks kind of like at their chest. So I couldn't really see their glow sticks. I was trying to keep my glow stick up because I knew like I was taller. The people behind me, they could kind of see where I was going. So I was kind of like doing like this. They did a pretty good job of where there were characters that came out. It was a good scare, like a earned scare. It wasn't just jump scares like back to back to back. It was pretty much like spread out. You had plenty of time to like just imagine the worst. And then someone would just jump out at you. So it was a fun time. I really liked it. I do know with that maze, I know they have at the one section you can split off to like kind of crawl through the like meat thing or like go through the other thing. I chose to just go to not crawl through it because I was like, I can't see anything. I don't want to be bumping into this, so let me not do that. But yeah, it was overall great maze, great run through. I think it was totally worth the price of admission, so that was good. And then right after the maze, they led you out into kind of this like room where it was like a bar. They had like stuff you can take photos, you can buy like spirits and stuff like that. We didn't really try anything. Our family friend, she did. I think she got a mocktail. She said it was pretty good. They had some food and stuff like that, so that was nice. Kind of the whole area where you are for this event, it's like separate off from like the main ship. Even though it's on the ship, it's kind of like separate. Like I mentioned in the beginning, you have to like get off the ship and like go to like this own entrance, and you're on the back side of the ship itself, so it's kind of like a separate thing from like the main area. So like people from like the hotel and stuff like that, they're not going to accidentally walk in there. It was pretty much separate. One of the highlights was it was a seance room, kind of like atmosphere thing. I didn't film for that. They told us no filming or anything like that. It was a cool little show. We got it was supposed to be, they were like conjuring some like killer or something like that. It was a cool show, lots of like sounds, and they had like someone in there that kind of like jumped out. It was cool, so I think that was fun. I was a little bit nervous just because of like I was sitting on the edge and I was just like, are people going to be popping out from like behind this curtain and stuff like that? Because like you could clearly tell like the curtain kind of looked like it was like kind of open in a way. I was just like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen, because like there's sound effects going all around the room as the lights were cutting on and off. So once again, it relied on the vibes more than the jump scares itself. But one of my big highlights was the engine room. We never got a chance to explore that before. The engine room by itself is massive. It is literally the engine room for the ship. You go down the flight of stairs and you're like in like this massive, like it's the engine room for the ship. It's what you would expect. It's crazy. And they had like real cool like red lights kind of like just draped on everything, so it gave off some really cool vibes. Like that was just like spooky all by itself. That's what I mean. Really, for this place, the vibes itself, it is so scary. You don't really need much to push it over the edge, if that makes sense. But then as we were walking down through it, there was one scare actor that was down there. As you go down on the bottom floor, you can like make your way all the way around, basically walk to the back of the ship and come back. There was one scare actor that was back there kind of just hiding out. That was a nice touch, because like I was wondering if someone was going to be down there. There was one person. You didn't even have to explore that far. There wasn't many people that went all the way down to the bottom and like looked all the way down there. So I think that was a well-earned scare. Even though they didn't really have a really good place to like hide, they were just kind of like up standing on like a thing. But like for most people, I think that was honestly good, because if you made it all the way down there, it was a decent scare. But yeah, overall, a great event. Would I go to this again? Yes. I think it's a nice little treat for like summertime, stuff like that, pre-Halloween, pre-spooky season, get you back in the mood, get you back in swing of things. It was fun. It was really fun. If they had another one, I would do it again. This is what I mean, reusing an old set and everything like that, kind of dressing it up, put like a small spin on it. I think it was nice. I enjoyed myself, a really good time. Rating it out of 10, I would honestly give this like experience an 8 over 9, because of just, it was unique because of how dark it really was. Like Dark Harbor by itself on the ship, their mazes are dark and vibey and scary. Having the extra element of no light really pushed it over the edge for me. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. But what does all this mean? This means that we're getting in the mood for convention season. All the big spooky stuff is coming up. We're getting closer to spooky season. Even though it's summer, we are getting closer to the bigger announcements. Bigger stuff is coming, so I'm really excited for that. But speaking of big announcements, Midsummer Scream is coming up very, very soon. If you want to see my recap video from last year, check this video out right here. We plan on being there this year. I'm excited for that. But if you want to see what it was like, what my experience was, how I reviewed it, check this video out. Subscribe for more. We'll see you over there.